Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome all the devotees. So we'll start with prayers. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidhinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare जय श्री श्री कृष्ण बलराम की जय श्री श्री निताई गौरांग की जय शिला प्रभुपाद की जय श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय. So welcome all the devotees. So we had been discussing yesterday the verse number 62 of second chapter. It was very nice understanding given by Krishna. He explained how things what take place with us, how we get attached to this, any of the object of this material world. For that matter, anything we get attached, what is the process? How does it take place? So Krishna explained that very nicely in second chapter, verse number 62. So I will share that. So we have been discussing the verse number 62. Dhyayato Vishyan Pumsa Sangas Teso Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodho Vijayate. This is very important verse. You all can remember this verse. One of the most important verse. Here Krishna is explaining कैसे हम attachment develop करते हैं. And attachment is the anchor point which is holding us here in this material world to suffer here eternally. We are suffering just because of one thing. Why? We are attached. We are materially attached, therefore we are suffering. If you do root cause analysis, so you will find that I am suffering because of attachment. Simple example I can give you. In this corona virus second wave, when the outbreak was there, it was very dangerous, very risky. And more than first wave, second wave made the people more panic into the panic situation. Why? People were dying like cats and dogs, and there was not availability of oxygen, medicine, hospital also not space. So we were asked to be at our own place and get all kinds of consultancy from the doctors. So like that situation was there, very panic situation, and people were dying every day. In the newspaper, we were reading that so many people died. And when we hear in our city also people are dying, figure is constantly increasing, and it is going on increasing by double, triple. Today it was 200, tomorrow it is 400, 600, 800, like 2,000, 4,000 cases were coming in corona. So we were just reading and we were not so much panicked about corona. But when we heard the news that our one relative in somewhere, mama ke ghar, ya in our family itself, in our locality, with whom I was very much associated, very much close and attached, when we hear the news of such person who got the corona, and because of the virus infected him so much that he died. So when we hear that news, we become panic, we get a shock. Earlier, when we were hearing every day in the newspaper, we were seeing figures, so we were not so much disturbed, we were not so much shocked. But the moment we heard the news that somebody in our relationship only died, mama ke ghar kisi ki death ho gaya, or for that matter, when we hear our parents itself got corona, it is very disturbing and tormenting news for us. Why? Because we start thinking about that, and all the sleep, all the hunger, thirst, everything is gone, finished. You don't feel hunger, thirst, and any kind of sleep. You are helpless and restless. When we hear the news that somebody my parents, my brother, and whatever my relative, they are suffering from the corona, and situation is very very critical. क्या करें अब? So we suffer a lot that time. Why? Because see, situation is same. Whether your parents are suffering from corona, or your relative, or somebody in the your locality to whom you don't know even, they suffer. Situation is same externally. But because we are attached, we are very much connected to them, and we don't feel like any kind of attachment or connection with other people to whom we even don't know. But in the newspaper, we just read that कि हाँ इतने लोग मर गए. उतना feel नहीं आता. We don't get that kind of shock or kind of problem we get. But as soon as we hear the news that somebody in our relation is dying, then we suffer, because you know why? Externally, in both the cases, situation is same. This your relative is also suffering. That person to whom you don't know, you are not related, he is also suffering. Maybe situation is so worse for him that he is suffering very very acutely. We suffer in this case. We feel pain, we get disturbed, or all the sleep, thirst, hunger goes away. Why? Because we are very much attached. Just because of attachment, we suffer. We get all kinds of feelings. Otherwise, so many people are dying in your city, in the world, people are dying. Millions of people died. But suppose in our family nobody died, so we don't care. Oh, chalo, theek hai, mar rahe. But when situation comes, मेरे घर में death हो गई, then oh, it becomes intolerable for us. Why? Because of attachment. So that same thing Krishna is explaining here, how this attachment comes. And this is the attachment only which is making us to suffer here in this material world, life after life. We are attached to person, we are attached to situation, we are attached to object or circumstances or any kind of luxury or any kind of particular mindset we are attached. All there's so many things. Many times we get attached to a particular room or a particular toilet. So like basic things we get attached. And a particular bathroom we get attached. Usi bathroom mein jayenge. So like this basic things we get attached. And when that thing from which you are attached, when you are not able to associate with him or anything happens, when you are in deficiency with that particular situation, circumstances, then we feel pain, we suffer. So see, suffering is only because of our attachment to this material world. We are attached. So Krishna is saying how attachment develops, and in reverse also you can see how to break the attachment. So if we want to go back to Godhead, back to Krishna, and enjoy our life eternally, as we have understood till now that the purpose of life is that reviving our original consciousness. We are now leading a life of illusion, a ghostly consciousness. We are leading a life of that, which is not our real life. We are leading identified life, bodily concept life, जिसको हमें छोड़ना है. We have to come out of this and go back to our original conscious real world where we belong to. That is Golok Vrindavan, the abode of Krishna. All these information will come in 7th, 8th chapter onwards. 7th onwards, all these understanding Krishna will give us. That there is another world, Krishna belongs to that, Krishna lives there, and we all belong to that world. Purpose of life is to go back to the spiritual world. But we can never go back to the spiritual world if we are attached to this material world. Anything, even a slightest thing you are attached, then we have to take birth here and enjoy that. Even any kind of particular desire we are attached, Krishna being very merciful, he will give you birth, that particular birth in which you can satisfy that desire. Somebody is very much attached to swimming, and suppose in this life your swimming desire is not fulfilled, but you have done so much chanting, reading, everything you have done, you want to go back to Godhead, but you are attached to swimming, so you'll not go back to God. Once again you have to take birth, and maybe you can take birth of fish and then swim nicely in the ocean, and then when you die, the next life may be possible you take human form, and then you complete your life. So it becomes very risky the moment we get attached. Bharat Maharaj, on whose name this complete tract of land is called Bharatvarsh today, that Bharat Maharaj, the son of Rishabh Deva, he got attached to deer. And when he died, he thought of deer and became deer in next life. So attachment is very, very dangerous in this material. So we should never ever be attached. But your question will be, Prabhu ji, but naturally we get attached. कुछ भी हो थोड़ा बहुत किसी के साथ रह लिए या कुछ सिचुएशन में रह लिए या कोई कंफर्ट रह ली, वो सारे सिचुएशन और परिस्थिति उस व्यक्ति से हम अटैच हो जाते हैं. एंड दैट अटैचमेंट इज साइकोलॉजिकल, नेचुरली आ जाता है. तो कैसे इसको हम इससे कैसे आप बाहर निकले, हाउ टू गेट आउट ऑफ दिस. तो हियर कृष्णा इज एक्सप्लेनिंग बोथ द थिंग, कैसे अटैचमेंट डेवलप होगा, कैसे अटैचमेंट डेवलप नहीं होगा. So dhyayate vishayan pumsha sangaste sopajayate. When we contemplate upon the sense object, then we develop attachment. Very simple. We get attached when we contemplate upon that object. So basic thing, we should not contemplate. We should perform our duty nicely. Jitna hours ki duty, 8 hours duty, you do your duty very nicely. While you doing your duty, absorb nicely. But we should not contemplate about any of the things, otherwise we'll develop attachment. Attachment is the soul's quality. Attachment you cannot curb, you cannot kill the attachment. Attachment is the property of the soul. So soul will find somebody to get attached, somebody or some object or some situation, any kind of such, soul will get attached. That is the quality of the soul. So therefore always we try to get someone. कहीं भी हम जाते हैं, किसी से हम मिलना चाहते हैं, we want to associate with somebody so that we can exchange our feelings, emotions. So we'll develop attachment. So therefore it is advised that you develop attachment to Krishna. You develop attachment to reading Bhagavad Gita. You develop attachment to chant Hare Krishna mantra. Develop attachment to hear lectures, Bhagavad Gita. Develop attachment to spiritual stuff, which is going to be with you always. Spiritual stuff will be always with us. Material stuff will be left behind here in this material world. Be it your parents, family, relatives, your position, your bank balance, your all kinds of accomplishments, degree, आपने जो भी acquire किया, everything will be left behind. So therefore, it is advised that we should not get attached. Otherwise, you will suffer. You will feel pain, lot of pain. जब हम घर छोड़ के जाते हैं college में भी, so we feel pain because we are attached to parents. So we feel pain, but understanding should be we should not get attached to these temporary material things, because sooner or later we have to leave them behind. If not, voluntarily, then forcefully we have to leave everything. Yamaraj will force you, death will come and force you to leave behind. So therefore it is advised that don't develop attachment to any of the material stuff. Develop attachment to which is going to be eternal with you, like Krishna will be always with you. Understanding of Bhagavad Gita, chanting Hare Krishna, wherever you go, either you are at home or you are in the college or you are in the workplace, anywhere you go, you are in the train, you are in the bus, anywhere, this chanting Hare Krishna mantra will be always with you. This is, so make friendship with this chanting Hare Krishna. Make the constant eternal companion this chanting Hare Krishna. Everybody will cheat you. Your so-called friend may also cheat you. Everybody is now selfish people. सब लोग स्वार्थी हैं. So you cannot put your faith completely on anybody. Anybody can cheat you at any time. But Krishna, this Hare Krishna mantra is never going to cheat you. And in fact, more you develop attachment with Hare Krishna mantra, more you'll get a reciprocation. More your life will become simpler. More your life will become sublime and blissful. So develop attachment with chanting Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. So this is very, very important. Where to dovetail our attachment. So ये attachment जो quality है, soul की quality है, इसको आप kill नहीं कर सकते. इसको आप dovetail करो. You just shift this from material attachment to spiritual attachment. Get attached to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, the spiritual master, is very, very important to develop attachment. It is advised for all of us, a disciple, if we want to get, spiritual perfection. Perfection in our spiritual life. If you want to go back to Godhead, that is the perfection. So we must develop attachment to Guru. Without developing attachment to Guru, we cannot go back to Godhead. Even Krishna will not accept us. Because Krishna wants us to develop attachment to his, Krishna's dearmost devotee, that is spiritual master. So Krishna wants us to serve his devotee. Krishna wants us to worship his devotee, Prabhupada. So when we develop attachment with Prabhupada, and developing attachment with Prabhupada is very simple. You just go on watching his lectures, hearing his lectures, reading his books, associate with him more and more. The attachment develop करने का simple तरीका ध्यायतो विषय. Just contemplate upon that particular person, you'll develop attachment. So contemplate about Prabhupada's life. You see, you will be flabbergasted by seeing the life of Prabhupada, by hearing about Prabhupada, by understanding Prabhupada's lifestyle. What a fantabulous personality, mind blowing. आप प्रभुपाद की लाइफ को सुन के या देख के आप enthusiastic हो जाएंगे. You'll be full of energy, full of enthusiasm. That is the Prabhupada's life. All the qualities which is needed, you will automatically get just by developing attachment with Prabhupada. You will develop the quality of compassion, you will develop quality of mercy, you will develop quality of determination. Prabhupada was so determined. See, 2 heart attacks, still he is going to America to preach. I have to preach this knowledge. And like this compassion is there, that people are suffering because of the lack of knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So I should go and give them this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Just see, Prabhupada is so very compassionate, abundant compassion Prabhupada has with all of us. So develop attachment with Prabhupada. And it is so many times very difficult. So one time one devotee asked from Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, we haven't seen Krishna. You always talk about Krishna is like this, Krishna is very beautiful, he wears peacock feather and he wears yellow garment, and when he blows his flute, whole universe gets attracted. So, but I don't feel attachment with Krishna. But I have seen you, I have heard you, I am seeing you now, and I am associating with you now personally. So if I develop attachment with you, and at the time of death, I think of you. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yad yad yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejati ante kalevaram tam tam evati kaunteya sadatad bhava bhavita. At the time of death, whatever state of consciousness you have, that state of consciousness, that mindset you'll get in the next life without fail. Just like Bharat Maharaj, he at the time of death, he was thinking of deer, so state of consciousness was of deer. So he became deer in the next life. तो मरते समय जिसके बारे में आप सोचेंगे वो बन जाए. If husband is attached to wife, he will become women in next life. If wife is attached to husband, in the next life will become man. So this is all the game of attachment. This world is running because of attachment. So but attachment हमको भी रखना है. किससे? Prabhupada. So this devotee asked Prabhupada, if I develop attachment with you, and at the time of death I think of you, so will I go back to Godhead? So Prabhupada took a pause and closed his eyes. And after a while, Prabhupada spoke that, yes, if you think of me at the time of death, you will go back to Krishna. So see, that is the position of Prabhupada. Prabhupada is direct in communion with Krishna. Prabhupada talks with Krishna. Many times devotees have shared their realizations, their understanding, because they had been serving, they had been assisting with Prabhupada. Prabhupada had many times, many devotees assisting. So all the devotees have different experiences. Devotees, they say that how in the night when Prabhupada is translating books, the books which we are now taking advantage of, Bhagavad Gita, we are reading and trying to understand. So when Prabhupada would write, many times Prabhupada would have a yellow kind of effulgence coming from his room. So devotees will be shocked from where this yellow effulgence is coming. Many times Prabhupada uses only lantern to translate his books. But many other times Prabhupada, devotees have seen that Prabhupada's room is very effulgent and he's talking to somebody and wearing another kind, some very special garland, which the flower is not available in that locality. Where from he got the garland? So like this, they would be seeing Prabhupada. And when they would ask Prabhupada, then Prabhupada would explain that, you didn't see when I was writing books, I was translating. Krishna came to me personally, and he was dictating me how to write this verse, how to explain this verse, and how what to write, when to write. What kind of translation should be, and what purport I have to write. So everything Krishna comes and dictates me. Just see, Krishna person. So Prabhupada says that these books, what I have written, this is not my understanding. These are not my words. These are the words directly given by Krishna, dictated by Krishna. Krishna personally comes and dictates me that like this you write. So that's how these books are like fire. One astrologer predicted about Prabhupada that the books which are written by Prabhupada, they are not ordinary books. They are not written by ink. They are written by fire. And anybody who reads this book, he will his all the ignorance and darkness will be burned to ashes. All the karma by which we suffer, no, we all are suffering because of sinful reaction which we have committed in the past. We committed in the past some sins, so reaction will come today, and I'll suffer. So when astrologer predicted that anybody who reads Prabhupada's books, all his ignorance, all his madness, darkness, and law of karma, everything will be burned to ashes, because Prabhupada's books are not written by ink, they are written by fire, fire of Krishna consciousness. So because why this fire? Because Krishna would directly come and dictate Prabhupada. So that is the level of Prabhupada. Many devotees like Shyam Sundar Prabhu and beginning devotees, all foreigners, those who came in contact with Prabhupada in the early days when Prabhupada was, wandering like vagabond in the American street, Manhattan street, from lower Manhattan to East Manhattan. Like that, Prabhupada would be wandering. So few devotees came forward. So one among them was Mukunda, Shyam Sundar, Malati, Janaki, Mataji. All these devotees came forward. So Shyam Sundar Prabhu very oftenly he would quote that many months I was there assisting Prabhupada, but I didn't see many months together Prabhupada sleeping. I didn't see Prabhupada sleeping. When the other time devotees would see that Prabhupada has now gone to bed and the light is low, so they would silently walk off the room. The moment they will reach to the door, Prabhupada would immediately spoke that, oh, you are leaving, come, come, come. Like this, Prabhupada would stop them. So devotees would always say Prabhupada never slept. Prabhupada, if we externally it appears like Prabhupada is sleeping, but actually he is into transcendental meditation, thinking of Krishna. He is deep into meditation. That is the position of Prabhupada. So we can, and we have seen Prabhupada, we are hearing Prabhupada's lecture, we are reading Prabhupada's book. So it is very, very easy for us to develop attachment with Prabhupada. So if we develop attachment with Prabhupada, then we will be freed from this material world and we can go back to Krishna. That is Prabhupada's aspect. So otherwise, if we get attached to this material world, then we have to suffer here. And then attachment agar material world se aayega to kya hoga? Then this calm, lusty desires will come. Lust feeling aayegi to enjoy. And if lust is not satisfied, if lust is satisfied, then greed will develop, and if lust is satisfied, then anger will come. And then what Prabhupada very nicely explains in the purport, one who is not Krishna consciousness is subjected to material desires while contemplating the object of senses. The senses require real engagements. So you cannot stop the senses engagements. Artificially आप sense को जैसे so there are many spiritualists, so-called spiritualists वो कुछ नहीं करेंगे. They will refrain from doing all the activities. They will not eat. They will not do any activity. So they criticize us, the devotees. Oh, you devotees, you use car also. You eat nice food stuff also. You use mobile phone, everything, all the luxuries you are enjoying. So they criticize. But unfortunately, they don't understand that you cannot stop the engagements of the senses. You can use rightly. And what is the right engagement? Use this, all the senses in the service of Krishna. If they are not engaged in a transcendental loving service of Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. So proper engagement of the senses, that आप duty करो, आप ना job करो, आप सब कुछ करो, but for Krishna. That is the difference. Then we will be safe. A sincere devotee of the Lord shuns all material enjoyment due to his higher taste for spiritual enjoyment in the association of the Lord. That is the secret of success. One who is not therefore in Krishna consciousness, however powerful he may be in controlling the senses by artificial repression, is sure ultimately to fail. For the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify his desires. तो अगर हम कृष्णा कॉन्शियस नहीं है, अगर हम चैंटिंग नहीं करते हैं, तो इट विल बी वेरी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू कंट्रोल द सेंसेस. आर्टिफिशियल रिप्रेशन काम नहीं करेगा. जैसे ब्रह्म कुमारी एंड सत्यन्मय फाउंडेशन एंड रविशंकर, ये सारे लोग आर्टिफिशियली सेंस कंट्रोल, इनफैक्ट वो आजकल तो सेंस कंट्रोल कर बताते ही नहीं. आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग में क्या रविशंकर जी क्या कराते हैं, लड़के लड़की आएंगे वहां, लड़का बोल रहा है अच्छा मैं लड़की खुश कर लूं, लड़की बोलेगी मैं लड़के खुश कर लूं, रविशंकर जी बोलेंगे हाँ करो करो एंजॉय. So that is their philosophy. That see, art of living is very very third class, not even spiritualist. They are on the name of spiritual, they are doing all nonsense activities. बड़े बड़े दाढ़ी बढ़ा लिए हैं और थोड़ा अच्छा एक mesmerizing talk देके, they are in fact degrading the people in the name of spirituality. मेडिटेशन कराएंगे, कुछ कुछ कराएंगे, ले जाएंगे आपको साइलेंस में ले जाएंगे 2-2 घंटे तक, तो आपको थोड़ा फील होता है कि हाँ माइंड को थोड़ा रिलैक्स. But mind is not controlled. Senses again, you come back again, you will get attached by seeing any beautiful girl or man. So that is not the real way of to control the senses. The real way, like this Sadhguru also, he befools the people by his word jaggery. अगर एक लड़की ने पूछा एक्स्ट्रा मैरिटल अफेयर कर सकते हैं, हाँ you can do, this is desire, so there is no harm. So he will puzzle the words and puzzle you also. So on the name of spirituality, these people are cheating the innocent people, and innocent people are just getting cheated by their external allure. They are getting allured by external so-called philosophical and very complex words they are using. So that is not the right way to control the senses, and all of us are trying to control the senses. So here Prabhupada is writing, unless we become Krishna consciousness, we can never ever control our senses, and we will keep on suffering this particular. So now this last verse, क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः. So now क्रोध डेवलप हो गया है ना, आप अटैचमेंट डेवलप किया, अटैचमेंट से लस्ट की डिजायर डेवलप होगा, लस्ट की डिजायर अगर सैटिस्फाई हो गया तो ग्रीड डेवलप होगा, एंड सैटिस्फाई नहीं हुआ तो क्रोध आएगा. क्रोध, and क्रोध is, anger is very very dangerous. It not only hurts other, it hurts you also. Many times out of anger we do blunders, later we regret कि मैंने क्यों किया. क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः, सम्मोहात् स्मृति विभ्रमः, स्मृति भ्रंशात् बुद्धि नाशो, बुद्धि नाशात् प्रणश्यति. So from anger delusion arises. So immediately when anger, so there is one saying that anger opens your mouth and shuts your brain. Anger से आप चिल्लाते बहुत हैं और आपका ब्रेन जो है क्लोज हो जाता है. You don't do things mindfully. Mind is closed now, shut, and your mouth is only open. So in anger, you will do destruction only. So now see, lusted or anger कहाँ से आएगा? When your lusted desires are not satisfied. So from anger, delusions. You are now completely controlled by delusion. You are into delusion. You are not able to make out what is right, what is wrong. And from delusion, bewilderment of memory. Memory is completely bewildered. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. See, so since systematically Krishna is explaining step by step. From anger, delusion arises. From delusion, bewilderment of memory. Your memory is bewildered now. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when agar aap buddhi khatam ho gayi, your sense of discrimination is finished, then one falls down again into the material. We get entangled into this material world and keep suffering here in this. So it is very very important to follow this mechanism which Krishna is explaining in this verse. Everything starts, all anger, attachment, lust, everything is what is the starting point? Attachment. अटैचमेंट से स्टार्ट होता सारी चीजें, और अटैचमेंट का स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट क्या है? ध्यायतो मींस कंटेम्पलेशन. सो वी शुड नेवर एवर कंटेम्पलेट अबाउट द मटेरियल स्टफ, रादर वी शुड कंटेम्पलेट, वी शुड विजुअलाइज spiritual stuff. Like it is very very easy for us to develop attachment with Prabhupada. Prabhupada is very very wonderful personality. Nobody can match Prabhupada's personality. Even materially, Prabhupada was very intelligent in logic, in reasoning, analogy, speech, anything you see Prabhupada Prabhupada was always excelling in all the fields. Many scientists would come to Prabhupada and would try to defeat Prabhupada. But Prabhupada will left and right, he will blast them by saying rascals, fools, mudha, naradana, you are lowest among mankind. Openly, Prabhupada would never fear from anybody. So therefore, by seeing the boldness of Prabhupada, all the foreigners were captivated. That this man is a real man. He is presenting real philosophy. The kind of the boldness he has, the the purity he speaks, the जो उनके बात में जो दम है, the power in his words is so attractive. So all the foreigners would get attracted. Even scientists, many scientists, they joined the movement of Prabhupada. Swarup Damodar, Dr. Singh. You will see, you will read books, PQP, perfect question, perfect answer. That is the discussion between Prabhupada and doctor only. That is PhD scientist only. Prabhupada would never spare anybody who would come and try to argue with Prabhupada. Left and right, Prabhupada will blast him back and blue by saying, rascal, you are rascal. That means rascal. He is fool. On his mouth only, Prabhupada would never fear from anybody. Prabhupada openly, he would say rascal to President of America even. He is living in America and he is saying, that time President was Nixon. President Nixon is rascal. So like that, Prabhupada would say. So Prabhupada's personality was very bold and very attractive, very pure personality, and at the same time very compassionate. So when Prabhupada is saying rascal, not out of enviousness, Prabhupada is saying because of compassion. It's like a father, many times he chastises his son and he speaks many times ill words also. But for that, father is speaking all the ill words, sometimes abuses also, sometimes beats also for the betterment of the child. So Prabhupada is in the mood of father of the whole world, parents of the whole world, well-wisher of the whole world. So therefore, Prabhupada would even some many times would become very blunt, very heavy lecture he will take. If one time he was invited in one assembly where all the leaders, top leaders, and all the judges, all kinds of people had come, judges and magistrates and all kinds of lawyers. They were all invited, and very heavily Prabhupada took lecture. So Prabhupada said that if you are not Krishna consciousness, if you are not chanting, all are animals. So like that Prabhupada would speak. So you can hear Prabhupada's lecture, very nice, interesting lecture. You will get mesmerized by hearing Prabhupada's lecture. So Prabhupada's personality is very attractive. So you all should get attracted, attached to Prabhupada, develop attachment with Prabhupada. And by developing attachment with Prabhupada, we can all perfect our life and go back to Krishna, back to God. With this, I will stop. Thank you very much. If you have any question, you can ask.